Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into the ultimate Icarus story of modern e-commerce. We are talking about the wild, frankly unbelievable journey of an entrepreneur named Davey Fogarty. It's a story that swings from the absolute depths of $0, rockets up to a massive $10 million valuation, and then dramatically crashes right back down to earth. If you want to understand exactly how rapid success can build an empire and how easily that exact same success can bankrupt it, you are in the right place.
So let's rewind a bit to late 2017. Picture this. 23-year-old Davey Fogarty is basically at a complete dead end. He's living back at his parents' house, he's failed out of university, and he's already racked up a whole string of failed business ventures. He has exactly $0 in his bank account. Zero. He's questioning his abilities, feeling totally down and out, and wondering if he even has what it takes. But then, while just mindlessly scrolling through Facebook, he spots a post. It's about a mom making weighted blankets for her autistic child. And the comments? They're full of people practically begging to know where to buy one, but she wasn't selling them. Davey does a little digging, sees the actual science supporting weighted blankets for anxiety and sleep, and realizes he might just be onto something huge.
He decides to give this whole business thing one absolute last shot. First, he checks Alibaba for suppliers. And surprisingly, there were literally 0 listings for weighted blankets. Now, in modern e-commerce, that is like finding a unicorn. It's a massive golden signal. It meant he was ridiculously early to a trend that already had proven demand on Facebook. So using the absolute last bit of cash he scraped together from some random videography gigs, he orders a really nice 7-kilo gray sample blanket from China. But because he was completely broke, he obviously couldn't afford professional models or a studio. Instead, he just had his mom, his girlfriend, and his neighbor's kid model the blanket around the house. And with those scrappy photos, he set up a super basic Shopify store.
He launches the store on a Saturday night. He runs what he himself describes as the worst Facebook ads you've ever seen, totally aware that if he doesn't get traction right away, his remaining money is going to vanish in days. But then, just a few hours in, he hears it, that iconic Shopify sound. Ka-ching. Absolute instant relief. And then it just keeps coming. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Within hours, he pulls in over $1,000. And the craziest part of all of this? These were 1-month pre-orders. People were handing over their cash immediately, totally willing to wait 30 days for a product that literally didn't even exist yet. Talk about undeniable market validation.
Okay, let's dive into this insane timeline, because the rise from here was meteoric. In his first year alone, Calming Blankets generated over $10 million in sales, and he took home a cool $1.5 million in sheer profit. By year 2, that profit swelled to $2.5 million. He snagged a #1 spot on Google for the search term weighted blanket. It grew so fast that Calming Blankets basically became synonymous with the product itself. People weren't even saying they were buying a weighted blanket anymore. They were saying they were buying a calming blanket. The business was humming, the customer reviews were absolutely glowing, and Davey was dreaming bigger than ever. The absolute peak of this early success? Well, that arrived when he received a massive acquisition offer to sell the business for over $10 million. Think about that. From literal $0 in his bank account to a $10 million offer in just a few short years, it is the textbook overnight success story we all dream about.
But as you might have guessed, what goes up so fast often comes crashing down. Let's look at the $1 million crash.
Now here's exactly why this matters for you and anyone trying to build a business. Around October 2020, that massive upward trajectory took a really violent downturn. Over the next 12 months, the profits didn't just dip a little, they plummeted. The stark reality is that his business went from generating a massive $500,000 in pure profit in a single month to losing over $1 million in a single year. Ouch. So how did this happen? Let's break down the 3 fatal postmortem mistakes that triggered this devastating reversal.
First up on the chopping block, mistake number 1, hype and greed.
And this brilliantly illustrates a really funny psychological shift. When you suddenly make life-changing money, fear kind of takes the wheel. You try to blindly replicate your success just to protect yourself, hoping that if business A fails, business B is going to save you. Davey took this flawed logic to the absolute extreme by launching over 10 new, totally scattered brands right after Calming Blankets. Because of this massive brand sprawl, he was spending a maximum of maybe 1 hour a week focusing on his golden goose. 1 hour a week on a multi-million-dollar asset. He let the financials of all these different businesses merge into one giant chaotic mess, making it literally impossible to even know which ones were actually making money.
In the middle of all this frenzy, he goes on an aggressive hiring spree, bringing on about 100 employees. Now, the beauty of e-commerce is supposed to be your ability to stay lean, right? Using fractional, part-time remote teams. Instead, Davey built this massive, incredibly expensive payroll of 100 people without any clear profit centers. Tracking who was doing what became a total nightmare. But the absolute most crucial failure here? Nobody in the entire company was financially incentivized on whether calming blankets specifically lived, thrived, or died.
There's this fantastic quote from business leader David Sachs that hits the nail on the head here. The benefits of synergies are hypothetical, but the benefits of focus are immediate. Davey lost that immediate focus, and man, he paid the ultimate price for it. Actually, they eventually were forced to restructure the entire organization so each business became its own dedicated entity with clear profit centers. But honestly, by then, it was just too late to save the momentum.
Moving right along to mistake number 2, a weak product strategy.
So, to try and keep customers coming back, they expanded way too fast. They started rushing out all these confusing variations, hand-woven weighted blankets, silver iron blankets, bamboo weighted blankets, but they didn't have a proper process for any of this. It completely diluted the brand and just confused their customers. Crucially, these new products lacked a clear, unique selling proposition, which you absolutely have to acquire new customers profitably on Facebook. But take a look at this table, because the irony here is almost painful. While Calming Blankets is struggling with a diluted focus at a premium price, another brand enters to crush them, the Oodie. And the crazy, almost comical part? The Oodie was Davey's own secondary brand. He was essentially cannibalizing his own market share. The Oodie, alongside giant retailers like Kmart, used its brand strength in the exact same marketing channels to completely swallow up the lower end of the market.
So what was missing? Calming Blankets totally lacked a product flywheel. That's a self-sustaining cycle of continuously dropping new, highly unique designs to keep people coming back for more. Unlike the Oodie, which was constantly launching crazy new variations month after month, Calming Blankets had zero patented or licensed designs to defend themselves. Their only real defense was their brand name and high-quality material. And face it, when cheaper alternatives hit the market, customers simply flocked to the competitors.
Which brings us to our third and final fatal trap. Mistake number 3, inventory chaos.
Let's move to this and see how it builds. Because if you mess up your inventory with physical products, it will literally bankrupt you. Because they launched way too many products without proper forecasting, all of their cash got locked up in the wrong stock. It turned into this devastating, cascading failure. First, amidst all the scaling chaos, they sold out of their top-selling calming blankets and didn't even notice right away. Second, just to keep some revenue coming in, they were forced to advertise their bad, non-top-selling products. Third, this resulted in completely unprofitable customer acquisition costs and really damaged their brand image. And finally, they were forced to clear out this bad inventory at a massive loss just so they could afford to restock the good stuff.
And to make matters worse, they got hit by a literal perfect storm. Even during peak COVID times, when demand was supposedly through the roof, they couldn't capitalize because, well, they didn't have stock of their best sellers. Combine this with the broader global supply chain crisis where suppliers were taking forever, and then, bam, the infamous Apple iOS 14.5 privacy update drops. This effectively blinded Facebook ads and skyrocketed marketing costs overnight. Davey just completely lost control of his cash flow.
But hey, from the wreckage comes the redemption arc. Let's look at 6 essential e-commerce survival lessons. The real value of this entire story isn't the crash. It's how you can avoid it. Here are the 6 absolute rules to combat these exact traps. Number 1, don't scale faster than is sustainable. Rapid expansion almost always equals inefficiency and massive risk. Number 2, get clear financial reporting. If you're unsure, hire a part-time, fractional CFO immediately. Number 3, build that product flywheel but only diversify at the right time. 4, structure your team clearly and actually financially incentivize the power players who control your business pulse. 5, act fast, pivot when needed, and ruthlessly apply the 80-20 rule, focusing strictly on the tasks that actually drive results. And 6, maintain focus and humility. Every failure is just a lesson waiting to be applied. So where is Calming Blankets today? Well, ultimately, Davey made the incredibly tough decision to shut down Calming Blankets entirely, alongside several of his other unprofitable e-commerce brands. He took that hard-earned wisdom about focus and actually applied it. Today, he channels his energy strictly into what works, managing the Oodie, his investments, growing his YouTube channel, and helping other entrepreneurs through his platform, Daily Mentor. Which leaves us with a pretty crucial question to ponder as we wrap up this explainer. When you get that very first taste of immense success, will rapid scaling be the tool that builds your lasting empire? Or will it be the very weight that bankrupts it? Definitely something to think about. Thank you so much for watching, and keep building with focus.